Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. You're about to see something that is not being discussed anywhere near the level it needs to be discussed. The Disney flywheel is absolutely shattered, broken beyond belief. Online. I'm going to be very specific here so there can be references without doubt or question. This is page 32 of the 10K, the annual report filed by Disney the same morning that we covered the earnings call live, just a couple of 2 or 3 or 4 days ago now, Thursday morning. We go down here the lines, the revenues for services, for products, for cost of services. You can see here, and this is my point, you can look down here when you look at things like net income, 13.4 billion. All these numbers are in millions, right? Net income attributable to Disney, 12.4 billion. This is the numbers that we use to compare to competitors that Wall Street has claimed are competitors, people like Netflix. So when we say that Netflix is generating almost the same level of profit, operating income, EBITDA, as the Walt Disney Company with nigh but streaming, no theme parks, no cruise ships, no hotels, no ESPN, nothing along those lines. Netflix is generating almost as much profit as Disney. They're less than one half the revenue now. This is the information I'm going to arm you with to argue against the shills out there. When they talk about, hey, Lilo and Stitch and this and that, and oh, Fantastic Four First Steps, and oh, Thunderbolts, and blah, 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 blah. This is one of the worst years on record for Disney. We knew that before this report came out. What we want to really look at here is when we get down to the entertainment section in millions. Again, in millions. Linear network, that would be 9.3 billion. DTC, direct to consumer on the entertainment side, which is Hulu and Disney Plus, 24.6 billion in revenue, total revenue between Hulu and Disney Plus, which includes Hulu Plus Live TV. Content sales and licensing, another 8.4 billion. This is where Theatrical is coalesced, right? You look at operating income, linear networks, 2.9 billion. This is profit after they took out expenses. Direct to consumer, or DTC, 1.3 billion. Content sales and licensing, 392 million. Now, for a company, and you think about fiscal 2025, which began October 1st of 24 and finished September 30th of this year, their theatrical slate, that is the lion's share of content sales and licensing, Jonas, began with things like Mufasa, Moana. Right. Fairly big movies for Disney.
Right.
And then absolutely had full collapses in calendar 25 with Snow Not White, Captain Falcon DEI, Thunderdolts, Fantastic Boar, Ilio. Just on and on.
It's been a really bad year for a company that said that they fixed their content engine. So
it really, 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 really did. Here's where the annual report shows us things that we have never really seen before. Let's skip past linear networks again, because just for an issue of time here, I want to get to the nitty gritty when we talk about theatrical. Okay. But I want to draw everybody's attention here. Things we've never seen before for linear: programming and production costs. They're actually breaking out physical production. We get down to DTC. Jonas, this is part one.
Yeah.
Revenues and direct to consumer, 20 billion. Advertising, 3.6 billion. Big number. Big number.
That is actually that advertising number is shockingly low.
Yes, and I tell you what, Jonas, I'll give you one guess because you don't take more than one guess to figure this one out, dude. Where do you think the overwhelming majority, if nay, damn near all of that number comes from? Hulu or Disney Plus?
It is 100% Hulu.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
sorry.
Hulu.
I mean, there is a negligible amount that might come from Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But Disney Plus doesn't have any content for which to run ads off of. This is why it's so important that Grey's Anatomy, Golden Girls, the things that people actually watch and they sit down and they watch 5-6 seasons of it. That's the stuff that's making money. No wonder this streamer is in such bad shape. That's subscription fees. And I bet those subscription fees specifically are being attributed there from the linear deals. Mm-hmm. $25 billion. $25 billion that they have in revenue, and they have 1.3 billion in operating income.
Exactly.
That is not a sustainable business model.
5%.
That is so dangerous. That is so dangerous. I would run. I would get out of this business. I would sell this content to other industries for more than $4 billion a quarter. That is an unacceptable margin on DTC.
You're right. And let me show everybody out there why we're saying, or why you're saying correctly.
I mean, they're selling in general administration is more than they're making in advertising. And for this to survive long term, it can't be subscription fees. It has to be advertising.
And no, it does. When it comes to Disney, though, we talk about the theatrical side of things. To your point with what you just talked about with streaming, roughly 5% profit margin for Disney. Netflix is at near 30%. 30% with nothing but streaming. This shows the metrics of Disney Plus. We know what's likely to happen here. These numbers are going to collapse once they combine these things. But look at the operating expenses, Jonas. This is key. Look at Hulu. $9 billion and Disney Plus $5.2 billion. And people off the cuff would say, okay, so Hulu is costing a lot more money. But here's the problem. Hulu has less than half the number of subscribers, allegedly, that Disney Plus does. Mm-hmm. But a lot of this is Hulu with live TV, meaning that most of that $9 billion are the cable subscription fees they're paying out to places like Comcast, to Paramount, to Warner Brothers, and even back to themselves in their own, from the right pocket to the left pocket at ESPN and Disney itself.
So do you think they're boosting their own content sales and licensing using transfer pricing? Do you think they're moving from one pocket to another and crossing divisions here in order to boost content sales and licensing and the linear business? I don't know how they count with linear, whether they're counting their specific channels or they're talking about sales to other bundlers.
Here's the problem, Jonas, why this has become so much more nebulous. And that is that Disney, at this point now, with the new deals, and this goes the same for Comcast and for some other people out there as well, that have their own proprietary Hollywood studio streaming services. Disney is now giving away Disney Plus, maybe not Hulu, but Disney Plus and ESPN, which is in a different division in sports, basically for free as part of cable subscription. For the 60 million people out there that still have linear cable subscriptions, you have access now, if you're on DirecTV, Spectrum Charter, so on and so forth, you have access to Disney Plus. You have access to ESPN flagship, whatever. So when they showed this year, this is the kicker, Jonas, when they showed, or not this year, this quarter, right? Linear broadcast, the revenue went down, like 20% year over year. It was huge. It was a big number. The problem is there is a not insignificant portion of that, I guarantee you, that was reallocated from linear into streaming into DTC. My point is that we saw a sharp uptick in DTC revenue and ergo operating income. But I think this is total replacement theory, Jonas, meaning that they're cannibalizing Because of the deals, they're cannibalizing revenue and OI from the linear side and then shifting it into DTC. DTC is not really organically growing, or it's not additive to Disney.
Right.
It's not additive at all. This is simply replacement theory going on. This is what everybody needs to see. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Theatrical distribution for fiscal 2025, beginning October 1st, 24 through September 30 this year. Okay? $2.592 billion in theatrical distribution top-line revenue. We're getting a breakdown here. We're getting not as granular as we would like, but more granular than we have seen in the past. Theatrical distribution, $2.9 billion. Programming and production costs in content and licensing.
Oh, my goodness.
$4.2 billion. Jonas, it gets worse.
Oh, my goodness.
Selling SGA. SGA, which you damn well know what that is. SGA, selling general and administrative. Now, again, this includes a lot of stuff. This includes like all the ticket revenues they get from Broadway Disney productions, licensing they get from like when my wife's music school rents The Little Mermaid to do a junior production of, all that kind of stuff. But the overwhelming piece of this is theatrical, no doubt. SGA, $2.7 billion, Jonas. You know what the biggest piece of that is?
Print and ads.
Prints and ads. Yes, it is global marketing. It is global prints and ads for theatrical. $2.7 billion frickin' dollars out there is what they spent. Okay. Now, again, this could be marketing. This is marketing also, to be fair, marketing for Broadway productions. Marketing for Disney released a new 4K disc of WALL-E from Criterion. I just bought it last week. Anything, but I want everybody to understand the bulk of this number, the big piece of this number, and Disney even says it here. Theatrical distribution. Look at this revenues. The increase in theatrical distribution revenue was due to more releases in the current year compared to prior. Titles in the current year included Moana 2, Lilo and Stitch, Mufasa, Fantastic Four First Steps, Captain Falcon DEI, Thunderbolt, Snow White, compared to the previous year, Inside Out 2, Deadpool, Wolverine, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Alien, Romulus, Wish, and the Marvels prior. Revenues other. They talk about this.
Okay.
Now, okay, so take other right there, like take TV and VOD. And look, Jonas, TV, VOD, home entertainment distribution. Yeah. You know where the bulk of that revenue is coming from?
I'm going to guess Disney Plus.
Boom! You got it, baby! Disney freaking Plus. That is Disney licensing its own shit to itself. That's the right pocket to the left pocket theory right there. Check this out. Jonas, react to this real quick before you got to go. SGA. Selling general and administrative. The $2.7 billion we just said and other costs increased $638 million to $2.7 billion from $2.1 billion in the previous fiscal year, primarily due to, read it, Jonas,
higher theatrical marketing costs.
Boom!
Oh, my goodness. Stop making movies, Disney. You would make more money if you stopped making movies.
Exactly. Jonas, here's my final thought before you have to go react to this one. The reality is, if we look at this, if we look at what Disney shed, S-H-E-D, shed over the last year in terms of just blowing money out of the door, okay? The fact that, like right now, all the way through the end of 2025 fiscal year, we already said the numbers. They were down, like before even Tron Ares, $600, $750 million in losses for the year. If you dial all this up, if you go back all the way through the last fiscal year, you're talking about nearly 10%. Disney has operating income, a profit margin with EBITDA of about $12 billion.
Yeah.
If you take into account the money that they are losing right now, almost consistently every year, nearly $1 billion in the box office, you're talking about 8 to 10% of their profit margin is literally being pissed away at the box office. every year. Where's Jim Cramer?
Right. And this is worth saying. The TV and video on demand and home entertainment distribution of $3.5 billion, that is Disney Plus putting something from one side of the business into the other. So the $1.5 billion that they say that they're making on Disney Plus, most of that is coming from themselves. So if they eliminate all of that, or if you just sell it for $50 million to Netflix or whatever.
That's just it.
This is a company that is allergic to making money.
Disney continues to tell us, and this is the problem. Disney wants to convince Wall Street that it's okay that things don't do well because it's feeding the quote-unquote flywheel. The money that the Walt Disney Company is losing, and I mean losing hard when it comes to these theatrical disasters. They're literally burying this behind everything else. And the numbers I just pulled up prove it. The reason the Walt Disney Company stock is still worth the same as it is today, as it was 10 years ago, as it was 5 years ago pre-COVID, even after spending $70 billion on Fox, is because they have just produced 90% of their theatrical slate as garbage, hot garbage. By the way, don't forget that the Walt Disney Company forecast a $400 million lesser performance in the fiscal quarter that we're in now for content sales and licensing. And that's with Avatar coming out in 6 weeks. Again, Disney confirming that they don't make that much money on Avatar films, even when they do $2 billion. James Cameron walks home with that money, not Disney. Disney has to spend $200 billion to market that shit.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.